All right, man. Ben Johnson is kind of being linked to the Panthers head coaching job a little bit, and some rumors. And then we got first and foremost, want to shout out to James Houston for winning the Pepsi NFL Rookie of the Week. He beat out a couple other guys. He beat out a receiver from Arizona. He beat out a couple guys for it last week. Aiden Hudson, I think, won it in week 11. Jamal Williams also won the FedEx Ground weekly award. So, let's talk about James Houston first. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. Yeah, man. James Houston, hard to deny him. That's the last week. I know Justin Fields was slowed down by the hip injury, but I mean, James Houston was shot out like a cannon on that one play, and he closed fast, athletic, strong. We spoke on him before. One of those guys who had some character concerns while he left Florida. He took a chance, and like I said before, man, everybody that got a clean record don't mean they ain't a criminal. They said everybody done a crime before, no matter if it's jaywalking. I mean, you could be working right next to a literal killer. And you never would know it. That's why I leave people alone. When you go in public, I don't know what people are capable of. Especially when you in open carry states, you just figured everybody got a gun. But nowadays you just figure everybody got a gun, regardless of where you at. So just leave people alone. Now, I ain't looking for a fight. I ain't running from a fight, and I ain't trying to get in a fight. But that's why if you somewhere and you feel like you shouldn't be there, guess what? If I need a gun to be there, if I need to worry about the safety of my vehicle, the safety of the people that I'm with, 9 times out of 10, I shouldn't be there. But James Houston is phenomenal. He changes everything. I mean, obviously, if Will Anderson there and he the best guy there, if it's an edge there, he the best guy there. You still couldn't deny it. But the way he playing, tremendous. Tremendous athleticism, which they needed a boost up front. And who knew they had these boosts on the practice squad? Who knew that? Who knew they had that? Who knew Aiden Hutchinson was as athletic as he was? And with the Lions, it seemed like he'd been asked to play more of an athletic role with the Lions than it was with Michigan. It seemed like he was a little bit more bulky. I think he started off with Michigan on the inside of the line. So James Houston and him changed everything. I mean, Charles Harris to come back. I'm not banking on Anazorki to come back, but you get a little bit more athletic there. So I mean, phenomenal game, closing speed. Seem to have good change of direction. The only question is, can he continue to, if they can get Hutchinson and him dropping in coverage like they've been dropping this year and making plays, I mean, they literally can go to an eye front, even though I would think Anazorki and would prefer an even front, especially if you're going after the Carter kid, you would prefer even front. But you have to ask me right now with the pieces they got, nobody talk about Barnes taking the steps in the right direction. Anna's only seemed to be a good depth guy. Rodriguez taking a step in a good direction. But I like the even front. I always kind of favored the even front. So, I like the even front they're running. I think they got more even front players. So I think that's where they go. But yeah, I think, they spent a lot of money across that D line and some dividends starting to pay. And James Houston is another one. You remember, Willie Young being a 6th round draft pick and playing pretty well. Cliff Averill being a 3rd round draft pick, playing really well throughout his career. So it's an honor. Nobody's seen it coming. But anytime you got the talent, you come from Fort Lauderdale, which is a hotbed for athletic athletes and football players. It don't surprise me none. And he was at Florida, so it ain't like he was originally at a HBCU, and it's another good look for Deion Sanders and knowing how to identify talent and, helping this kid rehabilitate his character. And people make mistakes. Trust and believe. But people make mistakes. But moving on to Ben Johnson, his name came up as a possible candidate for the Carolina Panthers job, just rumored by The Athletic. But my thing is this. They sending like big name splashes. David Temper, the owner, remember it was Jerry Richardson. He got into some trouble, some misconduct in the workplace, and he was forced to sell. So David Temper's I think David Temper got in some trouble too. They kind of swept it up under the rug a little bit, but he got in some trouble too. Yep, he got in some trouble. I forget the exact, I think his trouble might have been outside the NFL, but he got into some trouble as well too. So, something to think about for a minute. But yeah, he got into some trouble too. But yeah, they talking to Jim Harbaugh. Prerequisite questions. They kind of like a prerequisite, not a true interview, because they can't really conduct the interview. Most people feel that Steve Wilkes deserved a job. I believe so. He done a great job down there. Got a raw deal in Arizona after 1 year. Got a raw deal. About to get a raw deal in Carolina. And if I had an opening, I wouldn't hesitate to hire Steve Wilkes. Kind of remind you of a version of Dan Campbell. Just a defensive, tough, smack you in the mouth type of guy. And I think him, Leslie Frazier deserve another opportunity, but we know how it is. But, if that's the case, obviously you need somebody to work with a quarterback down there. The defense already good. Ben Johnson ain't going to be hot. Aaron Glenn name was hot. I think the only thing that really held Aaron Glenn back last year is people wanted to see if he can do it again. But we already know, Ben Johnson, he might skip that process just knowing the coaches that he rubbed shoulders with. He might skip that process. So, we talking about Sean McVay, Zach Taylor, Dan Campbell. You hear other defensive coordinators, anonymous rave, and that, he really has no tendencies. But I think a second year will solidify him. I think doing it with a younger quarterback will solidify him. But just because you're a great offensive mind, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a great coach. X's and O's is not even at the top of the totem pole. You hear me? X's and O's ain't even at the top of the totem pole. Can you, how is he leading the offense? How would he balance, a team and personalities, and will they respect him? They all can like you, cool, and they all love him, and they all run through a wall for him. But how do you have to make the decision, the tough decision? What type of leader you gonna be? And that's what Caldwell will always be linked to the line. If the Lions right this ship, Caldwell will be linked to that. Caldwell will be linked to that. Because he was the one that got the discipline within order. Jim Schwartz had them running wild, like a chicken with their head cut off, and we loved it until it started costing us games and penalties and all that type of stuff. And then some of the players started getting in trouble out, in prison and all that. And Caldwell got all that in check. So, you gotta ask yourself with Ben Johnson, is he gonna get the respect and be able to make the tough decisions, time management, manage all of that, or do he need some more time to mature into that role? Like I said before, I'm not inside the building. All the guys love him. But it ain't about, when your kids love you, everything go good. When your significant other love you, everything go good. When your brother love you, everything good. When your sister love you, everything. Your homeboy love you. But when y'all argue or y'all have a disagreement or y'all get into whatever it may be, an argument, that's the question. Can y'all weather the storm? And that's the reason that you got your homeboy that been your homeboy since high school or elementary school. Y'all done weathered so many storms. Your homegirl, that's on. That's why you brother and sister, you fight. Y'all back, can you weather the storm? Same thing in the locker room. John Harbaugh wasn't no offensive coach, defense. He's a special teams coach, but he can lead men. Can you lead? That's the number one thing. Can you lead men? Can you manage personalities? You can get by without X's and O's. You got coordinators for it. Can you lead men? Can you lay out a game plan? Can you lay out a schedule? Can they respect you? Don't have to like you. They have to respect you. You make the right decision. So, them the questions you got to ask you to become a head coach. And nobody's ever truly ready. That's when they fire guys like Steve Wilkes after 1 year, or my man's down there, David Culley down there, and excuse me, in Houston after one season. I'm just thinking to myself, how? You still learning as you go. Even if you're an experienced head coach, it takes time. A new city, a new GM, or a new personnel, it take time to put your imprint. So, having 1 year and getting fired, man, it's tough unless you lose every football game. That's the only way you can justify that. But for him, he gonna be a hot name, and we hope to have him another year at least. But if he come back, if they make the playoffs, man, and I'm gonna talk about that too. I'm gonna squeeze that video in here today because it might be an opportunity that the Packers and Lions could be winning in regardless. Mike just sent me, they could be voting, so I ain't gonna spill too much in this video. This video might come before that one. Who knows? Who knows? I don't upload them in sequence. I try to remember, but yeah, man, the Lions can get in regardless. They talking, but yeah, Ben Johnson getting the playoffs and do some damage. He gone, dog. So hopefully, Mark Brunell is somebody learning up under him. But if he here another season, it's gonna be about him validating what he did last season. Can he mix the variety up and what he can do? Because the NFL is great at adjusting and picking up tendencies from players coming into the next year. They great at picking up. They great at dissecting and all that. So. Aaron Glenn dealt with a lot of that. He had a lot of personnel issues. A lot of guys was injured, but he righted the ship. And Ben Johnson if he here next year, he gonna deal with some of that. They gonna we ready for this, ready for that. But I think he's smart enough to know he gonna break down what they did well, what they didn't do well, and it seemed like he's accustomed. He's what they need. He's customizing the game plan week by week to the personnel and to the opponent's strengths and weaknesses and to his team's strengths and weaknesses. And that's all I ever asked from the Lions, bro. That's what I asked from the Pistons, but it is what it is, man. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance of notifications. We go live and drop a video. Financially want to support the channel. Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Don't forget to check out my main channel right here on YouTube, Goodfella TV, for more sports news and entertainment. Appreciate the love and support. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist for more videos like this. Peace.